Hi everybody, welcome back to this week's My Weekly Rage Fix. I hope you all had a great week. Slightly different camera this week, so hope you can all see me. Anyway, in this week's Parshas Pinchas, we read about another incredible episode. Another episode that would, of course, only would have been placed in the Torah, written by a God and not by a human author, as it seems to castigate yet another bad impression about the Jewish people, how one of the 5 of the princes of the tribe of Shimon did a terrible sin of cohabiting with a non-Jewish woman. How this happened is incredible. What did happen is that the Midianite women had gone out to persuade the Jewish men into sin, and one thing led to another, and when a person goes into the wrong environment, even if you have the best intentions, person's emotions can get caught up, very much so, especially if you're drinking wine, as our sages tell us what happened over there. And here we had one person whose name was Zimri. He went ahead and he did an act with Cozby, who was the daughter of the Midianite king, whose name was Tzur. And they did a terrible sin. Now, if we try to imagine the scene that happened over there, Cozby comes with Zimri, and Zimri brings her in, and he asks in front of Moses, am I allowed to do this? Am I not allowed to do this? And he said, you're not allowed to. He said, who said that you're allowed to take your wife, Tzipporah, because she also came from Midian? And he proceeded to go ahead and do this act in front of other people. The question is, what happened over here? So what happened over here is that he got so caught up in his passion that he didn't want to think anymore. He couldn't think anymore, and he started explaining away why what he was doing was something that he was allowed to do. And he went so far as to say, well, Moses, how were you able to marry the woman you were married, without completely thinking of the fact that his wife, Moses' wife, obviously had converted righteously and was nothing at all similar to what he was about to do. So what happened? What happened was he wanted to do a sin. And when he wanted to do a sin, all rational thinking went to the wayside. And of course, we're always guilty of the same things, and we shouldn't be guilty of them, but the Torah teaches us lessons that we should learn from. And this was another lesson, how Zimri took this woman, Cozby, and he did this sin in front of everybody else. And speaking of Cozby, I just wanted to throw in yet another remark about Bill Cosby, who let us all down, and we learned the great lesson how yet another idol who we look up to was really just another predator in a certain sense. And many other stories are coming out with different examples of people doing things because they get caught up in what they're doing. And then there's even a next step, which is even worse than that, where when you get caught up, you're caught up in the moment, you wake up the next morning, you regret. But then when you take it the next step and you legalize certain things, like the Supreme Court did recently, so that's even worse. So, but not to get off topic. Topic is that idol worship is doing something because you're convinced that this is what God wants you to do, and all altruistic reasons, you have the best intentions, it doesn't matter. If God doesn't want you to do it, you shouldn't do it. Is it hard? Is it difficult? It is. But that is your test, and it was God given for you, and you're supposed to pass that test. Nobody's judging anybody, but we can't fool ourselves. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And for you to try to explain it away as if it's just nature, or for you to explain it away as, hey, there's certainly nothing wrong with it, which is even worse, that's of course an even bigger sin, but that's all part of the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara tells us to do something, and we start making calculations about why we're allowed to do it. It's really for the greater good, and this, and a bunch of excuses. So guys, let's put our Torah minds back on, keep our Torah minds with us constantly, and try to surround ourselves with people that can help us make great decisions. Have a great Shabbos. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.